Hello, and welcome back to the journey that we all started to crack Google Summer of Code this summer. My name is Ishan, and you're watching The Droid Chef. If you've seen my previous video, you already have a good amount of idea about what Google Summer of Code is. If you haven't, please check the link in the description below so that you can watch that video before you continue with this one. In this video, I wanted to share with you 5 tips that can help you ace your contributions in Google Summer of Code before you send in your proposals. A question that a lot of you might have is that why do we even need to know these tips in order to crack Google Summer of Code? The answer is simple. There are many other students competing with you, and most of them are doing the same things that you are. So what can you do to make yourself outshine? Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine an organization wants to get an Android app developed as a part of their Google Summer of Code project this summer. For the minimum requisites, they asked every student to submit at least one patch into their project before anybody can send in a proposal. Let's say there are 2 students, A and B. Both of them send in their merge requests and get it reviewed. Both the merge requests are successfully reviewed and they're merged back into the project. So now both the students are eligible to send in their proposals. Since writing proposals is not a very daunting or challenging task because you can find tons of proposals lying around from the previous years and every organization also has their own template, I'm assuming both these students are gonna write equally good proposals and send it. Now, what do you think are the mentors gonna do when they have to distinguish between these 2 students? Having been a mentor myself for over 2 years, and after having interacted with a lot of other mentors and organization admins, I came up with 5 tips that everybody uses to distinguish between students by looking for qualities apart from the coding skills, which of course you need in order to get accepted into Google Summer of Code. Tip number 1. Be proactive. Being proactive means thinking and acting ahead of the anticipated events. Just think about potential issues that can arise and be aware of the possible future changes so that you'll be able to plan and act accordingly and always prioritize the most important things first. Tip number 2, asking the right questions. Since there's going to be a lot of coding involved during the whole process, you will often run into problems that you might not have a solution for at the back of your mind. And in order to move fast, you might feel tempted to ask others to serve you solutions right away. Even though there's nothing wrong in that, but that defeats one of the major purposes of the program, that is, to learn. So before you go out and ask for help, make sure you've done your homework nicely. Let me give you an example of that. Suppose you're trying to fix a bug on software X, but you have no clue how to solve that bug or even reproduce that. Before you reach out to others, make sure you ask these questions to yourself. Have you cloned the project? Have you set up the dev environment that the project documentation tells you to on your local machine? Are you able to spin up the application at least? Can you play around with the application yet? If the answers to all of these questions was a yes, then you are on the good path. And I think all this should be fairly possible to do if you read the documentation carefully. If you're still not able to reproduce the issue that you're trying to solve, now is the time to reach out to someone else asking for help, telling them why are you not able to reproduce the issue. Maybe the person who reported the issue did not clearly mention the steps that you wanted to reproduce this issue. Maybe you've not set up the dev environment correctly. Something changed. Maybe the documentation missed that. And this is also an opportunity for you to go and fix the documentation so that others who try this in future don't face the same issue like you did. By doing this, the person who's about to help you already knows that you've done your part and you've done your homework, so they will be more than willing to help you out now. Tip number 3, helping others. If you think you have some important information or you've learned something new that might be helpful for other students or community members, please share it and make it a habit. Trust me, it'll do wonders for you. Till date, I try to follow this particular practice, and this is one of the reasons why I'm creating these videos for you all. Tip number 4, be honest with your mentors and org admins from the very first day. This is primarily related to the commitments that you might have during the summer. Maybe you're taking a vocational course, or working part-time, or even going for a vacation. Please bring it up in conversation with your mentor or org admin as soon as you can. Be very specific about how much time is it going to cost you during the summer. What are you planning to do to cover up for that time in advance or after you come back? Unless you want to get surprises during your evaluations, which means you might even fail one of your evaluations if the organization finds it out later. Trust me on this. If you'll be honest with the organization and your proposal is super solid and you've demonstrated that you're a great student, the organizations will work with you in order to find a solution that works for both of you. Tip number 5, and this would be the last one, is to solicit feedback as early as possible. In order to understand the needs and the expectations from the project and the organization, try to get feedback from your mentors or students as early as possible. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and share this with all your friends who are eligible to participate in Google Summer of Code this summer. By the way, did you know it only takes 2 seconds and 1 click to subscribe to my channel? You don't believe me? Go try it out. Good luck for your preparations. This is Droid Chef signing off.